Hi, I'm Ryan, and welcome to Ryan's Music Talk. Today, I'm going to be ranking the albums of a band very near and dear to my heart, the one and only Slipknot. Now, Slipknot were really my introduction to any sort of heavy metal music, and they've been one of my absolute favourite bands ever since, which is going on the best part of 20 years now, so it probably goes without saying that I've put a bit of time and a lot of thought into coming up with a list today that I'm really happy with. So with that said, let's get into it. Number 7, Point 5, The Grey Chapter. I'd just like to start with that just because I've got this in last place, it doesn't necessarily mean that I don't like the album. It's just that it's not usually or ever really the first album I turn to if I feel like blasting some Slipknot. But that said, it does still have some songs that I do quite enjoy on the regular, like The Devil in I, AOV, Custer, and I'm also a fan of the tribute to the late bassist Paul Gray in Skeptic. Number 6, The End So Far, the most recent album, and because of that, it's probably the hardest for me to rank, just because I haven't got multiple years of listening to it behind me. But having said that, I still don't feel like it's their most consistent album, while at the same time it's definitely still got some songs that I do quite enjoy. The Chapeltown Rag I think is a lot of fun. Hive Mind and Yen are also some standouts for me. Number 5, All Hope Is Gone. Now, this is an album that doesn't always seem to get a whole lot of love for whatever reason, and obviously it's not my favourite either. But I do think it's better than it gets credit for a lot of the time. I think Psychosocial is an absolute banger. I think Vendetta's a lot of fun. I think the title track is actually quite an underrated gem. But actually for me personally, the highlight of this album is one of the least Slipknot sounding songs in their entire discography. And that is, of course, Snuff. Number 4. Volume 3, The Subliminal Verses. This is an album that will always have a special place in my heart. It's the album that I first discovered Slipknot with. I was 12 years old, just sitting on the couch watching Channel V, and the video for Duality came on. And from that moment on, I knew this was a band that I had to hear more of. So, aside from Duality, obviously, other songs off here that have long been favourites of mine include The Blister Exists, Vermilion, Before I Forget, and, of course, Pulse of the Maggots. Number 3, We Are Not Your Kind. Now, for those who are keeping track, you'll obviously realise that the top 2 spots of this are going to be taken up by their first 2 albums. But then here in third place, we've got their 2019 release, which I believe was just an absolutely massive and triumphant return to form. I have a lot of fun with this album. There was the instant classics like Unsainted, Nero Forte, some really good deeper cuts like Critical Darling, Orphan, and also what I consider to be probably the best album closer in their entire career, Solway Firth. Number 2, Slipknot. A very important album in heavy music as far as I'm concerned. The self-titled debut is one of the most chaotic and emphatic first impressions you could possibly make. Just smacks you in the face right off the bat with Sick, then followed by the equally psychotic Eyeless, then there's the absolutely iconic Wait and Bleed, and there's the angry, hateful brutality of Surfacing, and then what I consider probably the greatest nu metal track of all time, Spit It Out. And that's just the first 5 songs. What a way to introduce yourself. And while I don't think the rest of the album quite ever reaches that height again, it's still filled with a lot of great deeper cuts, including Liberate, No Life, and Scissors. Number 1, Iowa. I truly believe there's never been an album to match this in both heaviness and quality. And as good as those first 5 songs were on the self-titled debut, they take it up a whole nother level on this one. There's the disgustingly heavy People Equal Shit, then my absolute favourite Slipknot track, the brutal masterpiece that is Disasterpiece. There's My Plague, Everything Ends, and then the fan favourite, the Heretic Anthem. And again, just the first 5 songs. Then we've got others, like there's Left Behind, underrated tracks like The Shape, Metabolic, and then there's the epic 15-minute closer, the title track, Iowa, to just cap off just over an hour of absolute heavy, brutal brilliance. I fucking love it. The whole thing. I love this album. So that's my list. Drop a comment. Let me know if you agree or if you're not. If not, if you do disagree, give us your list. Give us your reasons why you disagree. I'd love to see it. And please, if you did enjoy this, like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.